Good morning. Well, it might be later in the day for some of you watching this. I'm very, very excited to be launching the Bookwalkers Club. And the Bookwalkers Club is based on my new book, A Pilgrim's Guide to Walking Wisdom, 1111 Insights. And so far, not only is it doing really well in sales, but the reviews are really, use a wooden term, blowing me away. And the book seems to be everything that I wanted it to be: accessible, easy to read, great stories. And trust me, sometimes when these things come through me, when I go back and read them later, it's like, well, where did that come from? And that's kind of how I'm feeling with this book. But I just want to say that I'm starting the Bookwalkers Club, whether or not there's a lot of people, 100 people, 1,000 people. And so some of you may be watching this at a later date and know that what's happening now is I'm laying a foundation, because this is a community-based organization, that I'm hoping that to give everyone the skills so that then you can start clubs in your communities. And so thank you for those who are live, and thank you for those who will be listening later. Speaking of book walking, in the process of creating a walk to the Cotswold. It's going to be from October 1st to the 10th or the 9th. And more details are coming. It'll be on the website really soon. And so if you're encouraged about your walking and you want to walk a few more miles, think about joining me in the UK this October. And also for those of you who are in the UK and listening, I'm going to be teaching a day-long workshop at the College of Psychic Sciences on October 11th. And I don't have the whole itinerary for that yet, but I'm very excited about that. This is basically an introduction to the Bookwalkers Club and to Insight One. I did do Insight One last week, and I was in a hotel room at the Conscious Life Expo, which was really, really great. But I've gone from launching the Oracle deck, launching this book, to speaking at Conscious Life Expo. And so I'm just really catching up on my walking as well. And I will tell you a little story in a bit about my walk about sacrifice last night, because of course it was surprising. Remember, every journey begins with a single step. And this one is more about movement and getting deeper in your wisdom. The transformation that happens just starts to happen naturally. And even the story that I got last night when I was doing a short walk, they don't have to be long walks. There was a walk around my community, and I didn't even take all my side streets. I just took a walk so that I could honestly sit here and say to you, I did my walk this week. Did you? And the journey is about walking with intention. It's about reading one chapter at a time. If you read the whole book, listen to the whole book, have it on Kindle, sure. But what we're going to do, and I wrote the book, I'm even going back to read. And then to take the worksheets, which I have 11 worksheets ready to go. You don't even have to answer all of the question. And the focus this week was release what no longer serves us, whether it's an idea, a feeling, a physical action, or a spiritual belief. And then, do during the walk, and you could do this same walk over and over and over again and get a different prompt. Get a different answer or a different question. I like to walk with questions. When I walked the Camino last year, I walked with a new question every day. And sometimes they were answered so quickly that I'd have several questions throughout the day. And I'm sure some of the questions were never even answered. So this is not intended to be a long process. We will have time at the end to check in, and that won't be recorded. So if you want to come live, come live. And I'm going to start with a reading. And I just opened up to a page in the Making a Sacrifice chapter, which happens to be chapter 1. Our decisions whether monumental or small, shape the lives we lead, impact those around us. Making a clear-eyed decision often requires us to evaluate our values, priorities, and long-term aspirations. Sacrificing the comforts of routine in pursuit of clarity, like a pilgrim on a journey, can open us up to deeper insights. For some, it might be seeing repeating numbers like 1111, as I did, signaling alignment with divine support. For you, a decision worthy of reflection might be as personal as where to school your children, what kind of cancer treatment to pursue, or whether to downsize your home so you may prioritize travel and retirement. These choices, big or small, invite us to walk with intention, guided by the wisdom of both heart and head. I just opened to that. And there is never any surprises in my Winspirations, because last night when I was walking, all of a sudden, and this is how it works. It's not like I asked the question, I walked out the door, I said, hey, winds, we're taking our walk. And then I got a little kiss on the cheek by the wind, and I took a walk. Sure enough, I hadn't even rounded the mailbox when this whole idea came about how I've sacrificed in my life. Now, it may not feel like a sacrifice to you, but it's my sacrifice. So it doesn't really matter if my sacrifice or your sacrifice meets up to somebody else's snuff, because it's not that important. But I've sacrificed experiences in my life for owning property. And I thought, like, wow, where did that come from? I began in my early 20s renovating homes. I bought my first house at 22. I bought it for $1,300. It was a burnt out building in the slums. I don't know if we call them slums anymore, but it was a really downtrodden neighborhood in Syracuse, New York. And my intention was always big and grandiose, was I was going to get everybody on board to regentrify the neighborhood and bring all of these houses back to their glory. Well, I worked and worked and worked to restore one house to its glory, bought another house, which I never did end up getting to restore. And when I drove through Syracuse about 2 years ago, the whole neighborhood had fallen in disarray, and it never really came back up to being a lot of anything. But at the time, I was like gung-ho, ready to do it. And it started my lifetime pursuit, and I'm now 67, of buying, fixing up, and selling houses. Why that might feel like, well, that was a really good business plan. I was thinking last night as I walked about everything that I sacrificed in my life to do that, including weekends, hours, money, time, maybe even some relationships. I don't really know, but I thought, well, that was really an interesting revelation about what was a sacrifice and what was, a time for me to look at. And probably why I'm looking at this is, the sacrifice means to me now that I'm at retirement age. Not that I'm retiring, I'm just getting started. I'm retiring from corporate America, I believe, this year, but I'm just getting started with my journey. I'm very excited about the walking journeys, the Windwalkers journeys that are about to pursue, that I'm pursuing. So, what does this look like? Do I still need all of these houses? Do I downsize? I'm not walking to get answers. I'm walking to get questions. And that's the biggest part about this. All right. So what I'm inviting you to do is to walk with the idea of, one of the prompts that you have, and maybe answer, the questions. Imagine what we're going to get to after 11 weeks of answering the questions. And what am I ready to release? Am I ready to release this house? Actually, I thought I was 3 years ago. And now I'm like, wow, I'm glad this didn't release. And so we sometimes move in a direction and we find out that wasn't really the right answer anyway. So this is what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to let you come in and jump in here and talk. But so ask yourself, what have I sacrificed? What am I willing to sacrifice? And what is the question that I'm going to walk with this week? And then just take a walk. And you might take more than one walk, and you might not think that you got anything on the walk, but it's just time to really start to take these walks and start to ask better questions. And I'm going to show up here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to do this for the next 11 weeks. And if you're watching this later, I showed up for 11 weeks. And I'm very, very excited that you're here and you're going to walk with me. And I'm going to stop the recording and invite other people to share about their walks. See you at thebookwalkersclub.com. And you just start by buying this book, A Pilgrim's Guide to Walking Wisdom, 1111 Insights.